everybody, this is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook. I don't know what many takes I've been doing to get this started. It is so hot. I'm apologizing. I like to wear wraps occasionally and sometimes they unwrap. So I apologize for any flashing. I'm super hot, so I'm gonna probably do this because I turned off the air so you could hear me. It's so hot. It's like 99, 98. It's so humid, hence the growth happening here. By the way, I had her throw on a toner to tone down the brightness, so we're back to the brown. It was fun while it lasted. I had suspected my husband didn't care for it as much. He's very supportive of any kind of style or tribe, and usually will tell me after the fact, like, well, that wasn't my favorite, which usually translates to, I didn't care for it. So I think he's kind of happy. I can hear like labored breathing. It's just so hot. I'm going to get started because I always babble on Friday Reads, and I'll probably be here like a puddle of sweat at the end. So, ooh. And then I got my chai, and I always get my chai tea with, I don't know how you guys have your chai tea if you get it from Starbucks, but I always ask them to do 2 pumps of chai, so it's not super spicy. And I use soy milk. So I also know like the color of it, and I was just too greedy. Like as soon as I got there, I went to the drive-thru, I grabbed one for my son and I grabbed one for myself. I gave him one and I put this down, and I knew the color was darker. I know that despite that the ticket on here says 2 pumps, somebody just went to their old go-to habit and did whatever. I don't know if they do 6. It's ridiculous. So so now this is super spicy. As opposed to being super refreshing, it's really spicy for me, but you know, I'm still gonna drink it. I'm not wasting it. No. So that's my drink of choice today, and I love the fancy, look at the fancy coaster today. That is how I feel, like paper towels, and I almost wore my hair up, but I was like, oh, you know, just had it done, you should leave it down. I don't know, that's not gonna last. It's not gonna last the whole day. How are you? How is your Friday? Are you ready for the weekend? I am so ready. However, I keep watching the weather report, and it's like, this is never ending. We're basically on a drought where there's other parts of the country that are getting flooding. I can't fathom it. It's like, could you just give me some of that water so that, you know, everybody's yard, with the exception of people that are, you know, using other chemicals and different things. Most of the yards look like hay. And I wanted to do, you know, I still might do it and just show you what it looks like. It's like I have like, it's like burnt patches all throughout the lawn, and my plants are like, I'm trying to water them and be responsible, you know, not overdoing with water, because, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a water ban at some point or other. And so I'm watering just the plants in the vegetable garden. But even still, like, it's not enough because the heat is just so intense each day. So that's kind of like my ongoing battle. Like in the morning, I water everything early, and then in the afternoon, I'm like, they're just gonna die. They're gonna die. I've seen a couple of my plants that they're perennials that have already succumbed to it. They're like, it's just too much, lady. So reading. All right, let's get on to reading, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about, books, not about that. Oh, one other personal note, because this is Friday Reads. Ella update. She is, we went, I don't know if I talked to you guys before, I went back to the follow-up since her spay, and they were like, she's too active. We gotta like up the drugs, and they increased her meds, and it seems to help. However, we've had a couple of visitors come, and it's like she was sitting there and she's like kind of, you know, just laying around, and then somebody comes in, and then she's like, she doesn't have any drug in her. She's hyper on puppy mode, and then wants to jump on them, and she's not supposed to be jumping, and I'm like saying, don't jump, and I'm like, oh, it's a mess. So I think that her stitches are going to be taking a little bit longer to, I think when the doctor looked at them, they said the inside is closed, it's the outside we're working on, whatever that is. And so I think it's going to take her longer. She's only at, I think, day 7 or 8. since her surgery. And it's a major surgery, really. I think that next Wednesday I have the follow-up. And I'm like, worried that they're going to be like, well, we're probably going to have to go another couple weeks with it. This dog is going crazy. Like, she wants to go for a walk. She doesn't understand why we can't go for a walk. She's bored out of her brain. And, we're tired of the cone. And we bought, like I said, the sleep suits. She can sleep in that instead of a cone at night. It's like I strap her, snap it on her. And yeah, so there's that. So poor Ella. But, my girlfriend put it in perspective. She goes, this is a small window in her life. It'll be over with before you know it, and you'll be back to puppydom and fun. So just try to, bear in mind and get through it. So that's where I am with that. Now the reading. On the weekend I had some big plans, yeah. And it was the usual. We all know that I don't ever follow my plans. I really wanted to start. Have not started it. I still do want to get to it. I mean, I put some list of books, and I feel like it's already, like, time has been slipping away from me, that I wanted to do book options for the summer, the end of the summer. And yeah, so whether I get them all or get any of them is a mystery. And I realized that I shouldn't say I did not just realize this. Let's be for real. I'm really bad with TBRs. I think almost like I sabotage myself. I set it up with possible options, and then I don't even do one book from the option. I mean, like, just throw me a bone. Do one book, right? I don't know. So I'm going to try to get to this one. All right. Now, the Catch Me If You Can, I made a confession that it's not going to just be August that I'm going to read this. I'll probably read this into September, easily October, because it's just different countries. And that's what's going to happen with this one. It's fabulous. It just makes me happy. I love thinking about traveling. I enjoy traveling. I haven't traveled in a while, so this might help me get pumped about it, doing it again. What happened though over the weekend? I own this one by Denny S. Bryce, and I showed this one to you, right? In the Face of the Sun. But before I had purchased it, I had put myself on hold for the audio of this book. And I also wanted to apologize to you guys about the lighting. I don't have additional lighting on because it's so high, and I can't really add any more heat into the room. So there may be these shadows cast on me. But you can hear me. I'm here. You may not see me, but I didn't turn on additional lighting. So here we go. So anyway, the audio book came in, and I I had it as an option, but I wasn't like, this wasn't at the top of the list. And then I said, well, I'll let me accept it, and then we'll listen to a little and see if we gel with it. If not, I'll just return it for somebody else to have it, and I'll do this later on, because I wanted to pair this with the audio, because I liked the first one when I paired it with the audio. And I think it's the same lady that's actually doing the audio for this one as Wild Women in the Blues. It is so good. I'm loving this. I flew through. Now, this isn't me. No, this is just not me. But I flew through already 130 pages only in a few days. And it's really good. I don't know if I described it well, but it's a dual timeline, 1928 Los Angeles and 1968 Chicago. And in 1928, it's following this Hotel Somerville, which is basically a hotel that has been created and run and operated by African Americans. And there's some people that work there, and specifically this woman named Daisy, and you kind of find out about her story and what's going on in that time period. What I'm loving so far about this is that she's incorporating aspects of its history. Like, I love bits of history. Like in one segment, she's talking about, she's weaved into the story, the Green Book. And because of other things that I've read, I mean, I think I've told you guys on this channel before, I've never heard of the Green Book before in any of my history classes growing up. And even before the movie came out, The Green Book, which I have not still watched, but I had read about it in, I think, Isabel Wilkinson's, oh my Lord, her amazing book. Wait, because I have Cast, but it's not Cast, it's the other one. Oh, yeah, The Warmth of Other Suns. I just do not want to tell you that book, because that book is so great. Dee Dee worked on me for a couple of years, and I finally read it, and I was like, why did I wait so long? And I loved it. But in there it talks about, there was mention of the Green Book, and I learned it there. And so for somebody that might not have read or heard about it or heard about the movie, they would hear about it here, and they integrate it into the story nicely. She also talks about this African American hotel in Los Angeles, and I have to go look it up. I should have before I got into this video, but remember that I read for, I think it was Black History Month, and usually I have my journal with me, so I would have been able to tell you the name of it. But it was a book about African American women in history. It was an old book. It was a small book, and each chapter had a different person. Like, that just wasn't somebody that people would necessarily have run across their names. That, you know, they're not always the frequented names. And one of the stories in there talked about this couple that had created and ran a successful hotel for Black elites, and and so I had known about that, and I'm assuming that's what she's referring to in here. So it's kind of also neat. And I did see something on the news that talked about, and I don't know. See, here's like where you get the triangle effect. So there was that book. Then this book mentions it. Then on the news, I heard something, which I love when things like this happens, where they were talking about, and I have to look it up because it's going to drive me crazy, but it was this family that was suing to get back the property because in the end, with that hotel, systemic racism and was in full effect in terms of confiscating and basically taking away their hotel and their livelihood and that. So I think that this recent development, and I could be wrong, these could be totally different places, but the great grandkids have just won an award to get back the property where this place was. And so if that is the same place, how cool is that? Like, I love when you're reading a book, it references something that you've read, and my fondness for the warmth of other suns just comes up when I think about that with the Green Book. But then when I read about this and I think about, oh, how I love that book because it was all these women, these Black women that I didn't know about, and they all had very, very unique and different stories that were just incredible. And then you come across it again, and then you see something on the news. So yeah, I love when that happens. So, and the long and the short, because I got very long-winded, I am really, really enjoying this. This is the second book by her, and I really like it. I like the dual timeline. I like how she kind of cliffhangers almost at the end of each chapter, so you want to go back to the other one because you want to see, well, what's happening to Daisy, or what's happening with this, and I'm loving it. She's, weaving in characters, time period, W. Du Bois or Du Bois, and other people, and it's really good. I'm very much enjoying it. So this one, I have no doubt that it will be done before the time I see you guys next week, for sure. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it by Monday, but we'll see. But I am just enjoying it so much, and I'm really glad that I took a chance because I saw it come up. I'm like, I wasn't gonna really read it yet, but let me listen to it, and I was sucked in. So that's really great. Now this one I had started reading a while back and just wanted to finish it. This is A Big Picture by Vanessa Nakate. So I had picked it up. It's funny. It's like I have things I want to read. I have things that I read and started and didn't finish. So it feels like, as you approach the mid-year, you're kind of like trying to kind of clean up your act. And so I'm going to try to finish this one, and I'm very much enjoying it. I got, which is, funny, like a purple highlighter that I have, or really a lilac color that I'm using to highlight things in here, and facts that she's bringing about. And I just think I'm really glad that she wrote this book, because I think that it's very accessible, but it's very important in terms of being able to talk about how the climate activism has framed the narrative around around activism with regarding to climate, and how it has been exclusionary to some extent with regards to people of color, and especially countries that are very much impacted with it greater by the effects of climate change. And I think that it's really wonderful to, get in here and to see what she's doing, what she did, and her experience. One thing she said in here, which I think isn't a spoiler because I think that's part of like the description, is one of the reasons why she wrote the book was she had gone to a conference, had been invited to a conference in Switzerland, and she, like I told you before, they had cropped her out of the picture, the AP News outlet, and it's one of those things. It's like, like I said, you can create a narrative without even putting words to it. But if you only present, white people as interested about the climate or doing things for the climate, and if that's all you see in the media, in the news feed, at conferences, if these are only people that are the leading guest keynote speakers, then you tend to make assumptions in your mind that these other places don't care, they're not interested, they're not doing it, they're not worried, they're not affected. All of these other assumptions come up that aren't true. And so she's trying to push that narrative to be more inclusive. And I'm loving this book. I think it's really good, and it's very important for anybody that is interested in climate activism, and also to look at what's going on in other parts of the world. So very good. Love it, enjoying it. So that's really it for the weekend. I wanted to share with you a book that came in that I had pre-ordered, and also like my sister got me. I think this is so cute. Oh no, there we go. Wait a minute, let's be ladylike here. Oh, my sister is so cute. She's been sending me all these care packages. It's so funny. So this came in the mail in a big padded envelope. And remember, I got this book from the library. Oh, there goes hair in my mouth. A Year of Picnics, Recipes for Dining Well in the Great Outdoors, because I want to start doing picnics. And it's almost like the universe is like, no, you will not be doing a picnic until the fall, because it is, like I said, 98 degrees and it's humid. I don't want to sit outside right now. I want to stay inside in the air condition. But I decided that I'm going to like copy some of the ideas down and copy some of the recipes out of here. And when we're ready to go, we're going to like make it happen. But my sister, it was like, I don't know if she just was in my wavelength. She sent me this. It's called a beach blanket, right? And it folds inside it into this cute tote, right? But this is perfect for the picnic. So I think I'm gonna carry this with us. And I think it's just so cute. And I love the colors, it's happy, and I love it. I love it. And it's perfect. It's 60 inches by 80 inches, or for those foreigners that don't always use the inches like the Americans do, 152 centimeters by 203 centimeters. And it's reversible. So, hey, I'm loving it so much. So, the other thing that I got, there's this show that I watch that I love, and it's, let me see if I can find, okay, yeah, here's, I really love this show called The Repair Shop. I watched on TV. I think I watched it on Netflix, and I love it. So these people, it's set, I believe, in England, and people will come in with heirlooms or things like that that mean a lot to them, that need repair, and they're not something that you could just bring anywhere to be repaired. They come to this big, beautiful structure that they call the repair shop, and they have a host, and then they have all of these artisans and craftsmen that will be able to repair them. And oftentimes it will require more than one of them to work on an item to bring it to completion. And they will give you a little backstory about the object. You'll get to see them working on the object. Then you see them reveal the final product, which is always a little tearjerker often. I am in love with this show. The host, I enjoy the host on the show, and I knew very little of him. And I found out he was coming out with a memoir, and I was like, I gotta get it. I really do, because I like the show and I'm curious about his story. And his name is Jay Blades. I don't know if you've ever seen the show, but this is him. And I had pre-ordered it as soon as I heard about it. So I'm gonna read the back to you. An incredible story of triumph over adversity. I couldn't put it down, by Lee Ann Pinnock, Little Mix. There are many ways to make it, and I took the long way around. For a while, I was very broken, but for the last 30 years, I've mostly been trying to help people make or repair things. It might be furniture, it could be a relationship, it might even be themselves. Jay Blades found fame on TV's Money for Nothing. I never saw that one. And The Repair Shop. But behind the scenes is a breathtaking tale of triumph over adversity, overcoming homelessness, an absent father, crippling dyslexia, racism, police brutality, and a breakdown. Jay's positivity, pragmatism, and kindness shine through these pages and show that with care and love, anything can be mended. Now, with a new afterword, this paperback edition of Making It shows us Jay's highs and lows, the triumphs and struggles of his life, and reveals how his most impressive restoration job is the one carried out on himself. So I guess, like, by listening to that, there was an original one that was printed, and this is the paperback, which I'm happy. I'm happy that I found out when this came out, because I just don't want to have that. I know I told you this all before, but I don't want any more paper. I mean, I will get this stuff. I will take some hardcovers, but I prefer to get this off when I can. So I'm really excited. So this is definitely going to kind of sneak into the list at some point or other, and I know I'm gonna enjoy it because I really like. Oh, there's pictures in here. Ooh. Oh yeah, these are some people from the repair shop. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. And I'm still looking at the book while I'm talking. So that's good. If you guys ever get a chance to pick it up, I think it's going to be good. I want to read that. That is it. I'm so hot. I'm so tired. I feel I'm slowing down. I don't know what else to tell you except for read and enjoy your weekend. Try not to cook and overheat. Relax. Get something cold to drink and enjoy it. And I will see you guys next week. Hopefully with the update that I completed this one for sure. Okay. And we'll see what happens and what else comes onto the list. But I want to definitely knock that out. And I will talk to you guys next week. I hope you guys are I hope you guys are well. Oh my God, that's so good. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.